There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to everybody in the room. Good morning to people coming in the room. Good morning to people on Zoom, YouTube, and Facebook. We are everywhere. How cool is that? So we're going to get started right away with our first two community songs. Let's turn it over to our musicians. I invite you to sit, stand, spin in circles, whatever works for you, as we join in song. Here we go.
I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the joy. I feel the joy moving in me. 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 I feel the peace. I feel the peace moving in me. 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 I feel the presence. I feel the presence moving in me. 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 I feel the Spirit. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit. I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me. Let's hear you. I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 All right, we're gonna testify here a little bit. Are you ready? Sierra Center Singers.
Yes, sir.
All right.
That's right.
I got a new way of walking,
Hey.
a new way of talking.
Yeah.
Since the love and spirit took control, I got a new way of saying,
What's that one?
a new way of praying. Thank God I got a newborn soul. I got a newborn soul, newborn soul. Since the love and spirit took control, I got a newborn soul, newborn soul. Since the comforter made me whole, my hands look new, my feet did too. My head got wet in the midnight dew, but all I know made me whole. To thank God I got a newborn soul. I got a new way of preaching, a new way of teaching. Since the love and spirit took control, you know the souls are winning, new beginning. To thank God I got a newborn soul. I got a newborn soul, newborn soul. Since the love and spirit took control, I got a newborn soul, newborn soul. Since the comforter made me whole, my hands look new, my feet did too. My head got wet in the midnight dew, but all I know, it made me whole. To thank God I got a newborn soul. I got a newborn soul, a newborn soul. with a sense of love and spirit to control. I got a newborn soul, a newborn soul. Thank God I got a newborn soul.
Our music team is growing. Who knew by shutting everything down things would grow? Isn't that interesting? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am so honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. I have to remind myself to look up there once in a while. I'm not ignoring you, I'm acknowledging them. And when I'm looking around here, I'm not ignoring you, I'm acknowledging them. Things are different. So let me remind us of who we are. I know we have some guests this morning. Let me share with you who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, to each other, and the world. And we experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures. And we intentionally, on purpose, shamelessly, without apology, promote our community and our teachings. So if you play on any online platform, now is the time that you can participate immediately in sharing this live stream with your platform. We are live streaming direct to YouTube, so you can find it there. It is also live on Facebook. And if you're on Zoom, thank you for joining us there. So one of the things that we do every Sunday morning to honor our inclusion is our inclusion candle lighting ritual. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. You can just use the lighter direct if you want. Yeah. Adaptability. It is the sign of intelligence. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. You okay? We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me get you a different candle. Here we go. Here you go. We have the lighter. No. There you go. All right. Upstairs on our computers, we have little signs that say oops, because we're not allowed to say I'm sorry around here. We just say oops. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And we light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. And we light this 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. Thank you, Rev Lanny. So now we're going to turn it back over to our musicians for our next community song. Here we go.
I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering. I am remembering. I am remembering. I am. Now pick one of those two parts. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Melissa Felipe, wherever you are, for writing that song. So this is our time of announcements. And before I get started on the announcements, I'm going to ask Sandy Schilling and Jill Wiggins to join me up here for a moment. Neither one of them know this is coming. That's why they look a little dazed and confused. And it's fair that they wonder, oh God, what is he up to now? That's fair. So let me get you two right up here so everybody out there in TV land can see you. So I want to take a moment now that we're like somewhat back together to honor these two amazing beings for their service on our Board of Trustees. We weren't able to do this past year because none of us were here. Not that we're here now, because mostly we're not all there, but that's a whole different conversation. So they have given and given and given, and you're going to hear more about that later, but I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to both of you. You can go now. Yeah. Like I could control either one of you anyway. All right. So we are continuing our monthly Actualizing Wholeness discussion group. It meets the first Tuesday of every month. And so that will be coming up, not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, which I believe is the 6th of July. And we meet on Zoom from 4:30 to 6 p.m. The Zoom link is right there. It will also be in the newsletter that comes out later this afternoon. So join us. We have a good time just delving into how we live these principles. So those of you that are here in person know that we are open and how the bead system works. because we got people with necklaces on this morning. And so the red beads, we did this just like stop signs. So if folks are wearing red beads, that means they want to stay 6 feet apart from everybody. They want to be masked. They want you to be masked if you're interacting with them. They only want conversation. Please do not reach out and touch them. The yellow ones are for those that are kind of in between, still trying to figure out what they want. And that's okay, because sometimes what we're comfortable with changes based on the environment that we're in. And so it literally means I'm finding my way as I go. Ask me before removing your mask or touching me. And then the green beads say, I'm comfortable talking and hugging with or without masks. And here's the important part of the green ones, folks. I will honor your comfort level. So even if you have a green necklace on, keep a mask handy in case you're interacting with someone that's wearing red beads so that you can put on a mask to honor their comfort level. Okay? There's also signage up by the front door that says, please do not sit on this seat. If you want that 6-foot buffer, you can grab a couple of those signs and put them on either side, and that will give you the 6-foot spacing that you desire. We did this to empower everybody to communicate without having to have the same conversation with everybody they interact with, right? And so the system is available. We invite you to use it. And so this is our time of inward shift. And so Reverend Lanny's going to come and give us a brief lesson on our core value for the week. And then into our meditation, she will open us with our spiritual mind treatment and into our affirmation. Here we go.
Thank you, Reverend Rafe. So our value for this morning is service. And of course, the definition of service is the action of helping or doing work for someone. And I don't know if you remember that song that we used to sing by John Aston, Love, Serve, and Remember. Why are we here? To love, to serve, and to remember who we are. Remember our divinity. Remember that we are love. The Mahatma Gandhi said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And the self we lose is the selfish self, the self-absorbed self, where we realize that there's more to life than us, that we are able to see, to connect with, and to reach out, to be of service to others. And we recognize that we are the hands, the eyes, the ears, the feet of God. God can only do for us what he can do through us, or it can do through us, because it's not a he or a she, it's a it. And it's what we do that expresses God. And I wanted to say that there is an example of that right here. I want to acknowledge Sandy, since this is her last Sunday with us as a resident here of Nevada County, because she's moving to Southern California with her husband, and they've got a beautiful new home and a beautiful place. And so she has been such an example of service here in our community, not just here at the Sierra Center, where she has not only served on the board, but she was a youth leader. She has been a practitioner. She's done gift baskets for raffles. She's done so many things, I can't even remember all of them. And plus, she served in the community as a court-appointed special advocate, as help for young mothers who need support for brand new babies, and for so many other areas in our community. So I just want to say thank you, Sandy, for being such a wonderful example of service for all of us. Yay. And now we'll move into our meditation. Let's take a breath together and remember that which breathes us, that there is a power and a presence, a love energy, a life energy that created everything through its thought, brought everything into being through its love, its joy, its harmony, its wholeness, its creativity, its abundance, all of the good we could ever imagine and more, because it is infinite, and yet it is present right here, right now. As me, as every person in this room, as every person watching this service, it's present in every being, in everything. There's nothing outside of the realm of spirit, of that energy, of that life force. And so calling upon that realization and that power of thought is ours as well. I accept and I know a thought of loving service as we move through our day to day, and that call of the soul for freedom, realizing that that is a soul's call to express more of itself, more of that divine spirit within us, our true self with a capital S, that we are and connect with and allow to move through us to bring our good to the world in wonderful, expanding ways in each and every day. And so I know that Reverend Rafe's talk is blessed, that the musicians are blessed, that everyone who came here today is blessed, that all who tuned in today are blessed by this realization of that power of freedom and the responsibility that that freedom also entails, to do no harm, to bring forth the good, to be a beneficial presence. And so with great gratitude for the good that I know is unfolding in this moment, with love and with joy, I release my word into the law of life itself, knowing that the law responds by acting upon this word and brings it into perfect manifestation. And we affirm this truth together as we say, and so it is. All right. So I'm Reverend Lanny Howard, and we are now going to do our affirmation for this week. I'm going to speak it once, and then we'll all do it together. I consciously and confidently live from truth within me. I consciously and confidently live from truth within me, and so it is.
We're going to get on the road to freedom now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The road to freedom runs through the heart, runs through the heart, all the way through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart of the country of the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart, runs through the heart, all the way through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart of the country of the heart. It starts in suffering, east of oppression, by the twin cities of denial and hard lesson. The first stop is the little town of It's a Blessing, on the road to freedom through the heart. Road to freedom runs through the heart, runs through the heart, all the way through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart of the country of the heart. It runs by the cove of the slippery rocks, through the swampy bogged out and the town of Paradox, to letting go the village where spirit often walks, on the road to freedom through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart, runs through the heart, all the way through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart of the country of the heart. Then the road runs along the river of life. It goes through joy and it goes through strife. Down in the valley where the shadows be, up to the mountain where the spirits run free. In the heartland the road runs all the way clear to forgiveness. The destination is near to compassion. And now we are here on the road to freedom through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart, runs through the heart, all the way through the heart. The road to freedom runs through the heart of the country of the heart. Through the heart of the country of the heart. Through the heart of the country of the heart. Thank you.
Let's take a breath together. So this morning we're wrapping up our month-long look at the soul's call with the soul's call to freedom. And so first, let's take an idea of freedom. What the heck is that? Do we even know what freedom is in our human brains, especially in our Americanized human brains? Because I know that we're throwing that word around really loosely these days. That somehow the basic idea of caring for one another in the community has suddenly become a violation of our freedoms. Not sure how we got there. Well, that's not entirely true. I'm pretty sure how we got there. But we're going to talk about something else this morning. Freedom is literally that thing that we talk about in our teaching of the emancipation of all discord. It is that place of perfect alignment with our human consciousness, with our innate, inborn Christ consciousness. That's freedom. It is a lack, it's an absence of limitation. Limitation comes from an eternal collective consciousness in which every thought that has ever been thunk throughout all of eternity is. Now, wrap yourself around that for just a minute. Every thought that has ever been thunk throughout all of eternity, we're all swimming in that. Okay? This idea that we can actually escape it, that we can escape the collective consciousness as a road to freedom, not going to happen. Why? Because there's only one thing happening. There's no place to escape to. Right? In oneness, where are you going to go? A different corner of oneness? Right? A different place in oneness, but we're still in it because we are it. I know a lot of folks argue this idea of oneness, but I got to tell you, more and more science really does substantiate it. Okay? In terms of the minerals in our human body, they match the mineral content of the stars. Did you know that? Okay. We're really good at accepting that genetically we're related to primates. But did you know that more than 50% of your genetic code matches that of fruit flies and bananas? We actually have more, we share more DNA with the banana than we do the chimpanzee. Right? It's interesting stuff when we really dive in and begin to scientifically look at oneness. It's not just this idea that we've glommed onto. It's substantiated more and more factually by science. It's been substantiated by philosophy through the ages. We've known it, and we know it because it resonates from within. right? That resonance, that vibration, those divine nudges, those things that you know that you don't know how you know, that is your soul calling itself into your awareness. The soul is literally the activity of creation. It is that place where things move from idea to manifestation. It's that place where you get those divine nudges where your egoic brain goes, excuse me, God, do you have a supervisor I could speak with, please? Because they're so out of our comfort zone, we can't imagine actually doing them. They're so outside of our limited understanding of the resources that are available to us, we can't see how it's going to happen. And yet, when we step into it with faith, it happens. Now, if you step into it with doubt, you will get exactly that. You will fail because you're stepping into it with a conviction of failure. And so whatever we're holding in faith, if our faith is in that we will fail, you will fail. And in failing, you will succeed at proving these teachings. It's an interesting little twist, but it happens. I've been really looking at this whole process of virus and what's available to us to really learn and apply practically from this time that we've had to rethink some things, right? Because if it's all God, then it has to all be God, right? We can't have it's all God except the things we don't like. So COVID must be some expression of God too. And I've thought about it in terms of this idea of freedom and moving ourselves out of the limitation of our thoughts. And perhaps if we consider that we have thought viruses, right? And that we are perhaps, many of us, asymptomatic carriers of distorted thinking. Okay? There's this whole movement to ignore the idea of asymptomatic carriers, right? There's a lot of theories out there of that's just being used to put people down. But in this idea of collective consciousness, we're all sharing all of those thoughts. And just because they're not directly showing up in your life doesn't mean you don't have a responsibility to help heal those thoughts. It doesn't mean you're exempt from those thoughts. Because remember, in oneness, there's no place to go outside of the collective consciousness. And so perhaps if we embrace our role as asymptomatic carriers with the thought limitation of humanity in every area and put our attention to healing that, we can help heal humanity way more quickly than just our little corner of it. Okay? Now, how do we do that? Well, for starters, understand that you're here to be you. That's your job. Right? Your job is to first tap into understanding, to hearing that soul's call that's telling you what God's desire is to express as you. That's your soul's call, is the smile in the heart of the infinite itself to experience itself as you. Now, the only way you get to be you is you got to tune into what that is. Because trust me, we are all, from conception, before conception, we are all conditioned to be the idea of society.
We're not conditioned to be us. How many of you have parents that said, ignore everything society teaches you, ignore everything I teach you, and just do you? Anybody have those parents? I didn't think so. Right? So that's our first thing. Listen deeply. Who are you here to be? Be that. Understand that in order to do that, you're not here to fit in. That's not your job. Right? Because if we're here to fit in, we got to ask ourselves, what exactly is it I'm fitting into? Somebody else's idea? Right? You're not here to fit in. Just be you. The world will adjust. Or not. Right? The world will adjust. We, as individualized expressions, some of us don't adjust as well as others. Okay? Some of us dig our heels in. That's none of your business. It's none of your business who agrees with you. It's none of your business what anybody's opinion is of you. Your business is to hear the call of your soul and say an undefended, unflinching, 100% convicted, yes, I will be that. Because that's what I am. That's your job. If you do that, you can't possibly fit into somebody else's idea of you. The two really are mutually exclusive. Okay. Third, embrace the mistakes you make. Because you're going to make mistakes. Right? Dan Millman, Way of the Peaceful Warrior, used to visit the treatment center in Santa Rosa that I worked at. And Dan Millman taught the clients over and over again, you have never made a bad decision. Never. Think about that. You've never made a bad decision. You've made decisions that were the very best decision that you were capable of making in the moment that you made the decision, given the information and experience that you had at the moment of that decision. You've never made a bad decision. Celebrate that you're making decisions and then be open to learn from them. Let go of the lie that hindsight is 20/20, because it's not. It's a distortion of the past through a present lens. It's not 20/20, because you're taking new information and applying it to a time that you didn't have that information. All you're going to get is distortion, guilt, shame, and blame. Stop it. Stop it. But learn. Oh, now I have new information. So when I encounter a similar decision, I can make a different decision. Doesn't mean the other one was bad or wrong. Different does not mean bad. It just means different. Right? But we have an ego that doesn't know that. Please love your ego. Please love it, because you can't be here without it, and you will experience zero freedom by trying to annihilate your ego. Our job in this realm is to reconcile, bring into harmony our humanness and our spirituality. You cannot bring your ego into harmony with your spirit by hating it. Can't do that. Love it. Talk to it like it is your inner child, because I'm pretty sure it is. Right? Talk to it like you would any other child. I mean, you know, every day I have conversations with my ego that start with, oh, honey. I know you think that's a really good idea, but let me tell you why it's not. Let me tell you how that's actually going to make us infinitely less safe if we do that. Educate your ego. Love your ego. Free your ego from your own hatred. If you want to be free, you got to get free on the inside first. The outside will evidence the freedom that you have. And so if you are experiencing restriction, if you are experiencing frustration, if you are experiencing anything that you do not want to be experiencing, okay, buckle up, because I'm going to tell you 100% how to change that. Guarantee it. I will stake my next year's salary on it. Okay, you ready? Have a new thought. Have a new thought. We are a new thought teaching, and yet pay attention to how frequently we dig our heels in, cross our arms, breathe into our self-righteous indignation, and refuse to have a new thought. But then we want to gripe about how people are not following what we're doing. But actually they are, because they're not having a new thought either. Right? How do we end a virus biologically? We remove the host. That's the only way a virus ends, is it has to have no host. As long as a virus has a host, it continues to be viable. It mutates. It does what viruses do. Thoughts. Do they mutate? Mine do. Right? I got 101 ways to think you're a jerk. I got 101 ways to judge you, and more are rolling out of the factory as I speak. Let's tell the truth. Right? We have thought virus going on, and they show up as distorted thinking. We have to remove the host. How do we remove the host? Have a new thought. Because you can't rid yourself of the virus by thinking about ridding yourself of the virus. Can't do it. It's that whole thing, don't think about elephants in pink skirts. How many of you are seeing it now? You're welcome. See, we can't tell ourselves not to think about something because that part of our brain has no ability to understand the word not. All it hears is the object of the sentence. So you can't tell yourself, don't be angry. Don't be angry, don't be angry, don't be angry. Stop. I'm not limited, I'm not limited, I'm not limited. Yes, you are. Because your focus is on limited. What are you instead? I am a center of infinite abundance. There is no lack or limitation in the divine. That's very different than a not sentence. That is an affirmative no. Speak in the affirmative. Ernest Holmes taught denials. I think we don't use them enough. Right? We deny what we no longer want, and then in its place, we add truth. There is no lack and limitation in the infinite. That is a true affirmative statement. Well, what is there? Infinite abundance. The universe, God, Spirit, whatever I call it, is a center of infinite abundance, infinite possibility. Everything that can ever be thought of is available and instantly made manifest by creation itself, based on the power of my thought and my conviction to bring it into being. That's what's true. Whenever you're feeling a little bit down and a little bit marginalized and a little bit less than magnificent, here's what's true. You are a divine, purposeful, intentional idea in the mind of God itself, Spirit itself, love itself, whatever word you put on it, to experience itself as you. You are here by divine appointment to expand God's experience of God. You are that intentional. And you are empowered to use the creative power of creation itself, free, with no restrictions. None. That's who you be. Oh my God, if you can't get excited about that, I can't help you. Seriously. And whatever this is that creates, trust you enough to give you its power with no restriction, with no condemnation, free will, the power of your choice. And it never second guesses you. It never condemns you. It never says, Rev Rafe, you have gone too far. It doesn't do that. We do that. It does not do that. It loves you. It made you. It is you. And so I'm going to wrap up with this. That calling of your soul that you hear. Those new ideas that are begging to come forward. That's God expressing as you. That's what you're here to do. And as you do that, here's something to share with your ego. Our only job here is to show God a good time. That's our job. Show God a good time. If we do that, we will be in alignment with who we are. We will be in alignment. Show God a good time today. Do you? Let's take this into prayer. I feel the truth of life as I recognize, as I bring to mind, as I understand again that there is one, infinite, ever-present allness. That whatever we call it, it is unlimited. It is infinite possibility waiting to be made manifest in form through our participation in, through, and as it. We are made out of it, by it, to be it, so we must be one with it, surrounded by it, infused by it, interacting with it in every interaction that we have. And so I lift my voice, claiming and affirming that what is true of me is true of all life, from the grain of sand to the greatest cloud, everything in between, everybody in between, all God, all the time. And so I use my word, I speak my word, which is the word of the infinite, speaking itself into being. That anything unlike the truth comes up to be dealt with, to be neutralized, to be told truth to be moved into its rightful place of no thingness by a new thought. And as we do, we heal the one consciousness, the collective consciousness. And as we heal the collective, trauma, ancient trauma, generational trauma is healed, and generational joy, generational freedom is released. And we know it, and we live it, and we experience it, and we share it, and we set into motion a new lineage of freedom. So grateful. Grateful to feel the resonance of alignment with truth in my being. Grateful for every individual present here online, in the room, watching later beyond time and space. Grateful. Grateful to be used of Spirit. Grateful for this divine opportunity to show God a good time. And so I do. And I let go, and I just do God. And I invite you, if any of this resonates in that soul within you, to join me in making it your very own as we say together. And so it is. Let's take another breath together. So as the musicians are coming, I want to invite our folks online to give, to support us financially. You can do that by going to www.sierracenter.org. Go across the top to the Donate tab. It'll walk you right through all of the ways to give. I'm going to invite folks here in the room. We're going to have a basket that we're going to bring around to you. We're not passing it down the aisles just yet because we're still letting this physical thing play out a little more so we can see what's happening. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can always give on your way out. So let's say our giving affirmation together, shall we? Here we go. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, in these moments I am given, in situations called to be, I now choose this path of living. I will choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey.
Come over here a little bit. We got to get you in there. We go. And so I just take a moment to bless this energy of the divine in the form of money, knowing that each gives through this divine center to do amazing work in the world. And so I simply say thank you. And so it is. Thank you. Okay, our reminders. Not this coming Tuesday, but the next, is the Actualizing Wholeness. I am looking at starting some classes. I'm looking at rolling out the first one being Living the Serenity Prayer. Because I think we could use a little bit of that right about now. And so if you're interested in that, what I'm asking you to do is hit me up with an email to let me know morning, evening, in person, Zoom, what your preference would be to attend that. I'm open to running more than one version, so let me know what might work for you so that I can consider that in my decision-making process. I want to thank our musicians this morning. We're growing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to thank each of you for being here. Mary Lou, thank you for running the PowerPoint. Dell, thank you for running our live stream. And I know that you're physically leaving, but I got your number, so you cannot escape. I will miss your presence dearly. You have residence right here. All right. So I invite you, let's stand and do our benediction. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called the call of my soul.
It is this thing called the call of my soul.
It is this thing called freedom.
It is this thing called freedom.
It is this thing called love.
It is this thing called love.
I know it.
I know it.
I feel it. I sense it.
I sense it
Because I am it.
because I am it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Sing us out, musicians.
I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to be passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and one more time. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.